Witness Anniversary Edition when? I don't know. Like, dude, I hated, like, straight up hated the process of making Braid Anniversary Edition. I liked the parts that I got to work on and I liked the interviews and stuff. But like every time we had programmers working on it, for the most part, they were being sloppy and fucking up my code that I had meticulously cared about for years. It's just a very painful, agonizing process. And just like decisions were made that I don't like and were sloppy and people ripped me off. Like all these terrible things happened. So I don't know if I want to do Witness Anniversary. Like maybe I would just rather make more different games with that time, you know? Like you guys, here's the thing. Ever since COVID especially, but this is probably true in a lot of countries around the world and maybe the US is reverting to the mean, but like you can't usually just hire people to help you work on things. Because if you do that, most people will suck and fuck it up. Like, so if you hire people, you just gotta, I don't know, it's pain. I mean, this is not to diss the entire question of hiring people. So, for example, we have a team working on this game and they're all great now. But there have been, even with this game, there have been moments of extreme pain that I went through and people that we never should have hired and all this sort of thing. It's just the amount of pain is beyond what you would think of, is all I'm trying to say. And then, you know, when you hire people into your own company, it's a little better because you vet them and make sure it's going to be okay and they work with you for a long time and there's a survivorship process to that, right? Like people who are really not going to be good just sort of weed out. But so the thing about like an anniversary edition kind of a thing is because it's not a full game, you don't tend to have as much time. You just don't have as much time to vet people. You're working with a lot more external like contractors and stuff. And it just like, dude, there's so many things. Like there was like, so in the industry, there's these co-development studios or porting houses or whatever you want to call them. Um, and I worked with one of them and they were charging, I don't know, like, you know, they were billing hours of various people, but it came out to like, I don't even know, $40,000 a month, something like that, for their programmers to work on Braid Anniversary to help do the ports to all the platforms. And like after 2 months, I finally get unbusy enough that I can look at what they're billing me for. And it's literally like one line. It might have only been $26,000. It was somewhere between $25,000 and $40,000 a month. All right. It was probably 40. I don't know. But like, I look at what they're billing us for, and it's these like piddly ass, like one line changes every couple of days. Right. So every week there would be like 3 or 4 commits. You know, the kind of changes that a programmer will commit when they want to look like they're working, you know, they want to make sure there's things in the commit logs, but it's not real work. It was that. And it, you know, and I didn't notice for 2 months because they were supposedly a reputable place. And I actually, you know, I had met the guy who ran this company and I emailed him and I said, dude, what are these things you're charging me for? And he just like straight up was like, oh, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Our programmers are working super hard, blah, 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 blah. Right. So I got into, I fired them immediately. It just, and then multiply that by 100. Like when you're making games by yourself, it's hard in a certain way because you got to do everything, right? But when you when you work with people you can't necessarily trust in an industry where the price tags are really high, because all the web companies, drove the programmer salaries into the ceiling. And so you have to pay, like minimum $200,000 a year for somebody to program. And it just, these things are it wears me down. That's all I'm saying. I just want to be creative and do fun things. And we end up doing that kind of a thing. Your studio would do this for 12K a month. Is that 12K per programmer? That's probably about what this studio was charging. Yeah. So that's why I'm not chomping at the bit to do Witness Anniversary Edition. Is just because the Braid Anniversary was so much pain. And it's still like I still have to go clean up. We want to open source Braid at some point. And now I have to get rid of all the shitty code people put in, right? Like, it's just more work for me in the long run. Let's continue. Let's stop being frustrated. So the good news is, despite everything that I have just said, somehow, as the great Jeff Goldblum once said, life finds a way, right? And somehow we have managed to continue making video games despite everyone in the industry wanting us to die, practically. And such is the power of self-sufficiency. And we have the greatest puzzle game ever made before you, and all we have to do is finish it, and that'll be awesome. So, despite all my complaining, I would still rather be doing this than, working at a high frequency trading company. Even though I would make a lot more money there. We managed to make good things, and it's worth it. And we add good things into the world. It's just, man, the process should not suck this bad. It really should. And it didn't used to suck this bad. Like back when I was just working on Braid and even the Witness, it did not suck this bad. It's just like, either we got super unlucky or something happened in the past 10 years. And we all know several things happened in the past 10 years, but like something happened to just make things a lot worse.